Hi, my name's Leah, and I did my SDG exercise 4 assignment on Papua New Guinea, and I focused on Sustainable Development Goal number 6, which revolves around clean water and water sanitation. So, Papua New Guinea is pretty notorious for having a lack of clean water and sanitation for several reasons, and we'll see that on the next slide. But they do have a very significant amount of deaths, which peaked in 2018 due to the lack of clean water. So, Papua New Guinea has a specific correlation with mining. So, a lot of their water is contaminated by certain deadly chemicals in minerals such as zinc. So, by leading these mining expeditions, their water is induced with chemicals and other dangerous metals that infiltrate the water supply and contaminate clean drinking sources. So, a lot of their water either has to be extremely filtered or sanitized to a great extent to make sure that no one gets hurt by it. There's also poor government policies revolving around proper waste management and water sanitation for mining places and other places as well. So they don't have, any acts or specific laws that fight against waste management or poor waste management or, contaminating water with dangerous chemicals. Companies are free to just do what they wish. The government isn't really stepping in that regard. There's also a lack of infrastructure. So instead of having direct, clean, hygienic ways to dispose of waste, they don't really have that. So water does get contaminated that way. It also affects the availability of clean water. So a lot of times we can go to the sink, fill up a cup, but they don't have that choice there. So, and then here's a comparison in clean water in the United States. There's not much. The United States has a lot more access to clean water and a lot stricter sanitation policies. So, for example, the Clean Water Act, which was enacted in 1972, is one of the example laws that protect clean water for all U.S. citizens in sanitation processes. So, companies aren't free to just throw minerals or chemicals or waste where they want. They have to be disposed of properly so they don't affect cleaning or clean water or sanitation processes. And the US infrastructure is a lot more composed. So, for example, we have toilets to organize waste, and then we also have sinks, clean drinking water in our homes. And we also have pretty significant waste management. So, as I said, companies can't throw waste everywhere. Citizens are expected to be conscious of their waste, where it's going, etc. So, we can't contaminate our water as easily as other countries might. So here's a graph of the shared deaths in Papua New Guinea. So they were at the top of the board in 1990s, and as you see, it kind of went down over time to show that the problem is getting fixed, and that's from the help of technologies and also more government officials stepping in and kind of putting in place policies or barriers to prevent mining companies from contaminating drinking water as easily. There's also a program by the World Bank that's helping them get clean drinking water as well and help with water sanitation projects. So that's also pretty neat. So here's some solutions for water sanitation. One of them is desalination. So Papua New Guinea is close to the coast, so basically they can collect seawater and filter it out through desalination. And that's basically taking all the salt from the water, so it'll be clean drinking water. Additionally, it does need to be filtered out more, of course, just to get out any possible, chemicals or debris. But the other processes are pretty specific and they require a little more technology. But the process of automatic variable filtration, it works by using another type of substance against the water. So it's not as advanced as the other one. Papua may want to look into using this, and it's not as advanced and not as expensive as some of the other techniques. And here's my citation page. Thanks.